Hello students, in this video I am going to discuss about the skull or cranium. Skull or cranium is the skeleton of a head. It has been divided into two parts, neurocranium and viscerocranium. Neurocranium is actually the part of the skull where brain resides or brain is present or it is housing the brain. So and the other part is viscerocranium. Viscerocranium is facial skeleton. Facial skeleton is called viscerocranium. So neurocranium is comprised of 8 bones. Out of those 8 bones, 4 are paired, like right parietal, left parietal, then left temporal and right temporal. They are forming the paired. They are paired bones, and they are actually forming the vault of the skull. And then we have got. Mm, if I remove these parietal bones so you can have better look inside. Uh, then we have got frontal bone, which is single in number, and in the midline it is also forming a part of neurocranium. Then this is small bone, which is called ethmoid bone. It gives small contribution to the neurocranium. Its actual contribution is to the viscerocranium, which we will discuss in a while. Then we have got sphenoid bone, which is also a single in number and present in the midline. It has got central body and its wings, greater wing, lesser wing, greater wing, lesser wing. So it is also a part of neurocranium. And then we have got finally this is occipital bone, which is also a single in number, and here we can see the foramen magnum, through which access a second cervical vertebra is visible. So actually from this foramen magnum, this brain stem is continuous with the spinal cord inferiorly. So this these basic cranial bones, like frontal, ethmoidal, sphenoidal, these are irregular bones, and these are formed by endochondral method of ossification, whereas the bones which were forming the skull vault, like this parietal, right parietal, left parietal, and left temporal and right temporal, these 4 bones were produced by the intramembranous ossification method. Next we are going to look at the viscerocranium. So viscerocranium is, as the name indicates, viscera in viscerocranium, it is forming the facial skeleton, and these are the bones which develop from the mesenchyme of the pharyngeal arches. If you haven't forgotten your embryology, you must have known first arch is mandibular, then maxillary, and this is how facial bones are derived from the uh, pharyngeal arches. And okay, so these bones are again 15 in number, which are forming the skeleton of a face. Out of those 15, 3 are single in number, and again they are in the midline. First one is the mandible, then we have got vomer, then we have got ethmoid bone, if you haven't forgotten, which I you know this is the ethmoid bone, which gives small contribution to the neurocranium but major contribution to the viscerocranium. So these were the 3 main single centrally lying bones: mandible, vomer, and ethmoid bones here. Rest of the bones are again, they are paired bones, and they are paired bones. For example, maxilla, zygomatic bones on either side. Then we have got these nasal bones, right and left nasal bone. Then we have got these small lacrimal bones here. Then we have got, from inferior aspect, we see palatine bone. These are again 2 in number. They have got, which is not, a suture is not shown between these 2 palatine bones, which is called interpalatine suture. So these are again single in number, and they form the facial skeleton, which is called visceral cranium. So mandible and maxilla is special. Actually, they have got sockets for the teeth. Maxilla bears the socket for upper jaw teeth, and likewise mandible bears socket for inferior jaw teeth. So maxilla is fixed or to the base of the brain, base of the skull, and it is fixed bone maxilla, whereas mandible is making a joint with the inferior surface of the cranium or basic cranium at TMJ joint, temporomandibular joint. So this mandible is very mobile bone. So out of these bones, few bones are pneumatic. Pneumatic, it means they have got air cells within them, or air cells within them, just to make the weight of the skull lighter. And such bones are like maxilla. Then we have got ethmoid, as we all know that ethmoid has got anterior, middle, and posterior ethmoidal air cells. Then we have got this saphenous bone, where this is pituitary fossa. Here you can see inferior to deep to this pituitary fossa we have got ethmoid air cell. Then we have got this temporal bone. This is mastoid process. Again, this mastoid process has got mastoid air cells. So these are the pneumatic bones. And the anatomical positioning of skull is very simple. The inferior margin margin of the orbit and superior margin of the external acoustic meatus, should lie in the same horizontal plane. If we draw a line from superior margin of the external acoustic meatus to the inferior margin of the orbit, this is called Frankfurt line, or this is called orbitomeatal line. So if they are present in the same horizontal plane, it is to be said that cranium is in anatomical position. And it's a clinical I would be discussing in my next upcoming video. So just wait for that. Thank you very much.